Police officers who were fired or quit in the middle of an investigation are finding jobs in other departments around the state. The I-Team found out of the 1,200 officers who lost their jobs in the last 5 years, nearly 200 have found a new one. Sean Gallagher explains just how hard it is to take a problem police officer off the job.
The I-Team analyzed the list kept by the State Department of Justice and found 198 officers on what's called the flagged list have found new jobs. But the list of flagged officers only tells part of the story. Take, for example, Michael Mattioli. He's accused of putting Joel Acevedo in a chokehold following an argument at a party in April of 2020, killing him. The DOJ flagged officers database simply lists Mattioli as resigned in lieu of termination. Mattioli and many of the other names on the flagged list can still work as police officers in the state of Wisconsin. And the number of officers on the flagged list finding new work is only growing. More than half of those who have gotten new jobs have done so since 2019.
Just because an officer is on a red flag does not mean that they're a bad officer. It just means that perhaps they were a bad fit.
Stephen Wagner is the director of the Training and Standards Bureau with the Wisconsin DOJ. He says the list is a good tool to allow agencies to make informed hiring decisions, but there is admittedly missing information.
That would be up to the agency to look at that officer's background during the background process to find out exactly why they're red flagged. We don't hold that data, we just hold the flag.
The only thing the state can do to keep an officer from finding a new job is to decertify them, which requires a hearing in front of the Law Enforcement Standards Board.
They are holding law enforcement, jail officers, and secure juvenile detention officers to a very high standard. And I think if you look around in the country, it's one of the highest standards in the country.
State law dictates how and why officers can be considered for decertification, including for a felony conviction or a domestic violence-related crime. Since 2016, 48 police officers have been decertified in Wisconsin, according to the DOJ's list. The last 2 officers to lose their certification spent time behind bars.
Wisconsin's statute for decertification is entirely permissive. It says that the board may decertify an officer who's convicted of a felony or fired.
Josh Parker is a senior staff attorney for the Policing Project at New York University, which researches policies and identifies best practices. He says Wisconsin's decertification law may be too narrow compared to other states he's researched, allowing for officers who avoid felony convictions to remain on the force.
Officers are rarely convicted of felonies, and say officers may be decertified for that conduct regardless of whether they are criminally prosecuted.
He's also concerned that while there's a shortage of police officers, more names will be hired off the flagged list, particularly at smaller police departments with fewer resources.
It's generally referred to as the wandering officer problem. Those agencies may not have tons and tons of qualified applicants, so they settle for someone who's been fired and has all of these red flags.
Legislation introduced this year would require departments to create personnel files on its officers and send those files to potential agencies considering hiring them. It also eliminates a department's ability to enter non-disclosure agreements when an officer agrees to leave the department.
An officer can't just get a sum of money to walk away and everybody's happy and smiley and all good comments about their work performance. Can't do that anymore. We're talking about transparency.
It's the kind of legislation the Policing Project at NYU says is in line with best practices across the country.
Because if you leave it up to the agencies, which is what Wisconsin currently does, you're going to get wildly variant practices across agencies, and it's just not fair to the people who live in a jurisdiction that has an agency that's more lax.
The bill has the Assembly's approval and is awaiting a vote in the Senate. Reporting for the I-Team, I'm Sean Gallagher.